One of the most exciting storylines in every World Cup are the breakout stars that announce themselves on the world stage. In this video, I'll identify one breakout star from each country that earned a big transfer after their performances at Qatar 2022. Beginning with Argentina, and a perfect example of a breakout star in Enzo Fernandez. He barely made the Argentina squad, came off the bench against Mexico to score an absolute stunner, assisted by none other than Lionel Messi, and become the youngest Argentina player to score at a World Cup since Lionel himself. Enzo Fernandez only got to Benfica in July for 12 million euros and settled in quickly, playing in 5 of their 6 group stage matches in the Champions League and being a large piece of what got them to the Champions League last 16. After these World Cup performances, he's likely to be on the move again very soon, with Manchester United and Chelsea very keen. From Australia, you can take your pick from this overperforming Socceroos team that made a shock appearance in the round of 16. For me, it has to be Hadi Sutar, the 24-year-old center back, 6'6". He was a rock for Australia in 1-0 wins over both Tunisia and Denmark. Currently at Stoke City, he was tipped for a move to the Premier League last season before he tore his ACL, but after coming back and performing the way he has in these World Cup games, he's definitely going to get that Premier League move sooner rather than later. Belgium were so bad, the only thing they did was lower their players' market values. Yuri Tielemans, Leandro Trossard, Andre Onana are some of the most highly sought after players in Europe at this point, but their prices are only going down after a horrific team performance from Belgium, getting knocked out in the group stage. So I have to pick Jeremy Doku, who simply didn't play enough to be bad. The 20-year-old Rennes winger only played 20 minutes, but with interest from Liverpool and being a pacey, direct winger who loves to run, it all makes sense. Practically everyone in the Brazil squad is already on one of the best teams in the world, so I have to go with Lucas Paqueta, who just made a 60 million euro move to West Ham, but is the only starter who's not at one of the best clubs in the world. For Cameroon, it has to be Vincent Aboubakar, who came off the bench to get a goal and an assist in the 3-3 draw against Serbia, which earned him the start against Brazil, in which he scored a winner in stoppage time, a moment that he will never forget. Tied for being the oldest on this list at 30 years old, his prime is coming a little later than most, but with clubs like West Ham and Leicester interested, he should get his big move. Canada was one of the worst teams in the tournament, and Ismail Coney would have been an easy cop-out pick if his big move to Watford wasn't already announced. So I have to go with Tajon Buchanan, who has been performing very well for Club Brugge since his move from MLS. He's better than most for Canada, bagging an assist against Croatia, so the 23-year-old could definitely be on the move. Probably not in the next year, but in the next couple. Costa Rica were also dreadful, so I'm going to shine a light on 18-year-old Juwison Brunet, the Sunderland Academy graduate. He didn't do much in the World Cup, but for Sunderland, he scored an 87th minute winner after only 30 minutes of championship football. He's got a huge future ahead of him. Keep an eye out for the name Juwison Brunet. For Croatia, it has to be Josko Gvardiol. He is an absolute star at 20 years old, potentially the most sought-after center back in the world. His value has only increased after incredible performances in every single match at this World Cup. So whenever Leipzig decide to sell, expect major news and a huge price tag. Denmark has a lot of top talent at all ages, but they all underperformed in this tournament, so I'm going to go with Andreas Skov Olsen, an extremely versatile player who's best in any right-sided attacking position. He has 9 goal contributions in 15 games for Club Brugge, and with Tottenham interested, a move is coming. Ecuador are a team full of top talent, but the guy you need to keep your eyes on is Jose Cifuentes. Although Sebastian Mendes might have been the better LAFC player at this tournament, Jose Cifuentes is the guy who gets all the focus at club. With 11 goal contributions in LAFC's run to the Supporters' Shield and MLS Cup double, Jose Cifuentes is absolutely getting a big January move to Europe. The question is, where? For England, there's nobody else to pick besides Jude Bellingham. The 19-year-old midfielder has been running things for England next to Declan Rice. Bagging a goal and assist in this tournament, Jude Bellingham is just proving why the entire world wants this player on their team. It's a question of where he wants to go, not which club wants him, as PSG president said earlier today. France is another case where all of their players are already at the best clubs in the world. So I'm going with Marcus Thuram. The Gladbach winger has 13 goal contributions in 15 games in the Bundesliga this season and is almost certain for a move next summer. Speaking of Germany, they were horrible, but Niklas Füllkrug was their bright light with 2 goals and an assist in the tournament. He's been smashing it with 10 goals and 2 assists in 14 matches for Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. Somebody who came up through the Werder Bremen system, he's in the perfect spot. So maybe he won't want to move, but if he does, he should get it. Bayern Munich are interested, but a bunch of other clubs could come and snatch him as well. At 29, he needs his move now. From Ghana, it has to be Mohamed Kudus, who I had the privilege of seeing score at Anfield, but is now proving his talents on the world stage, scoring a brace in the 3-2 win over South Korea. At only 22, he's yet another incredible talent out of the Ajax Academy. Everton were close to signing him last summer, but when Antony went to Manchester United, Ajax decided not to sell. Eventually, they're going to have to, and he's going to get his big move. Hold on. If you're enjoying this video, let's take 3 seconds to hit that subscribe button. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, back into the video. Japan has had a lot of standout performances in their spectacular run, but a lot of them got big moves right before the tournament. The same is true for Ayo Tanaka, but I think he could get another one, because after moving from the J-League to Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga 2, he's proven he's too good for the Bundesliga 2. With a man-of-the-match performance against Spain, a Bundesliga side should come calling soon, and he should accept the offer. Edson Alvarez was the brightest light in Mexico's bleak World Cup. Another player I had the privilege of seeing live at Anfield, he's just coming into his prime. With Chelsea interested, it's just another player Ajax are eventually going to have to sell. With Morocco making their first ever run to the World Cup quarterfinals, you could practically pick half their team. But my choice is Sofian Amrabat. The midfielder who can play as a 6 or a defensive-minded 8 has been organizing Morocco's midfield all tournament. He's played every single minute, as Morocco have only conceded 1 goal in 4 matches. Liverpool and Spurs are interested, but Fiorentina won't want to let him go. Cody Gakpo has been hyped for the Netherlands for many years, and with good reason, but this has been his moment to prove himself on the world stage, scoring in each of the Netherlands group stage matches. With 21 goal contributions in 14 games at PSV, all top clubs in Europe are interested. And yes, you heard that right. 21 goal contributions in 14 games. For Iran, it's another 30-year-old striker in Mehdi Taremi. In 2020, he got what was a big move for him to FC Porto, but he deserves another one after this World Cup performance with 2 goals and an assist in 3 matches. He's also bagged 5 goals and 2 assists in 5 matches in the Champions League, leading Porto to the last 16. For that reason, he may not want to leave, but a big club needs to hop on this opportunity quickly. Arsenal might be the one to do so after Gabriel Jesus had knee surgery. For the host nations Qatar, the player that deserves a big move is absolutely nobody. They were terrible. For Poland, I'm going for the 24-year-old midfielder Christian Bielik, who is currently on loan at Birmingham City and was key in the Polish midfield. An offer could come in for the lesser-known midfielder. Fernando Santos gave us Portugal's breakout star of the tournament, Gonçalo Ramos, who's really the breakout star of the entire World Cup after scoring a hat-trick on World Cup full debut, replacing the one and only Cristiano Ronaldo up front for Portugal. The 21-year-old Benfica striker is proving that he is ready for the big moments, and with 9 goals and an assist in 11 games for the Portuguese side, a big club better snatch him up quickly before he costs what Darwin Núñez did. For Saudi Arabia, I have to go with 22-year-old winger Firas Al-Buraikan, who bagged an assist in Saudi Arabia's massive 2-1 upset over Argentina. With 4 goals and 1 assist in the Saudi Arabian League, he's a prospect for Europe. Somebody who likes to run and is a quality presser. He could easily fit in the new style of football. When it comes to Senegal, I'm choosing their penalty taker, Ismaila Sarr. He scored the penalty in a 2-1 win over Ecuador that sent them through to the knockout stages. He's a player who will fight for every scrap. He loves to run and is direct. After his Aston Villa transfer fell through last summer, he has 10 goal contributions in 17 games in the championship and will likely get that big move next summer. Serbia's Andrija Zivkovic could use this World Cup as a revival for his career. Despite not making it out of the group, Zivkovic was fantastic for Serbia, providing 2 assists against Cameroon and hitting the woodwork against Switzerland. At 26, he deserves one more shot to prove he can do it in a quality league. Playing in Greece right now, anything can tempt him. Gu Sung-cho of South Korea could be a steal for any championship side looking for an aerial threat. He scored 2 goals against Ghana, won 9 out of 10 aerial duels against Portugal, and could probably be bought for under $1 million. I think he would fit perfectly into the English Championship. With half of Spain's team already playing for Barcelona, I'm going for Nico Williams, who's passed the eye test coming off of the bench for Spain. Despite not having a goal contribution, he's a pacey winger who's very direct and will take you 1v1, but he's also developing an eye for the pass. At 20 years old, he still needs to smooth out the edges, but he has 6 goal contributions in 14 games for Athletic Bilbao, who always lay great foundations for players not only as footballers, but as people. Manchester United, Liverpool, and Atletico Madrid have all shown interest. It'll be interesting to see who lands him. After being bought by AS Monaco for only 12.5 million euros, Switzerland's Breel Embolo could be on the move again very soon. Coming into his prime, he scored 2 goals in Qatar and has 9 goals in 15 games for Monaco. A top club needs to find a way to convince Monaco to sell, because he could be an absolute steal. For Tunisia, it has to be Issa Laidouni, who was Tunisia's best player in their shock 1-0 victory over the world champions. He's a strong defensive midfield presence who will clean up plays all over the pitch. But he also had 11 passes into the final third in that match, including 3 big chances created and the winning assist. Still, he could go under the radar for many, but whoever picks him up will get a steal. My pick from the United States is Valencia midfielder Yunus Musa, who does everything in midfield, as was shown on his 20th birthday against England, where the US were able to pull off a scoreless draw. He'll be a stalwart in the United States midfield for the next decade, and since breaking through at Valencia at 18 years old, he's attracted interest from all over Europe. The best spot for him, I think, would be Arsenal. With his great reading of the game and comfortability on the ball, he'd fit Arteta's system to perfection. With all the focus around Darwin Núñez for Uruguay, it was Georgian de Arrasqueta who provided the goals. There were only 2, but he scored both in their only win of the tournament and his only start. He's been excelling in Brazil for years, and at 28 years old, he needs to get his move now, assuming he wants it. The London clubs are showing interest. If he wants to go to Europe, it's now or never. Last but not least, it's Wales and our second Nico Williams of the list, this time spelled with an E. Nobody was very good for Wales at the World Cup, but Nico Williams wasn't bad, and the 21-year-old fullback is full of talent. Coming out of the Liverpool Academy, he's got all the pedigree. After moving to Nottingham Forest this offseason for 17 million euros, he's not likely to move very soon, but he'll get that big move in a year or 2. Thank you for watching. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscription. It would really, really be appreciated. We will see you next time.